Welcome to the Hello everyone, and welcome to the launch of the Black Community Action Plan. Just to let everyone know that we are recording the event this evening. May I just kindly ask you to remain on mute throughout the whole of the event so as to allow our speakers to be heard. May I ask the Deputy Leader, Councillor Margaret McClellan, to introduce herself at this time? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elsa. And just to introduce, I'm just letting everyone know, on my screen, I'm seeing just the agenda, if that's okay. So if people don't mind me talking, if they can see me or hear me, that's perfect, but I'm seeing the agenda. Just to introduce myself, I'm Councillor Margaret McClellan. I'm the Deputy Leader, Brent Council, Year 6. And I'm lead member, I also have a portfolio. I'm lead member for resources and finance, so that's the budget. So literally financing comes through me. I've also recently taken on board, because of the maternity leave of the member, I'm now the interim lead for safe children safeguarding, early years and early help. So just a couple of small portfolios for me to take forward. But what pleases me even more, and thank you all very much for giving up your hour of your time, which you'll never get back. So I really appreciate the fact that you're coming here, because I know in terms of running businesses, how difficult it is. And I know a lot of you have other roles as well. So I'm really grateful for you for coming. But, you know, the reason I say this is that, as Elsa said at the beginning, this is the launch of the Black Business Network, which has arisen out of the Black Community Action Plan. The Black Community Action Plan is, I cannot tell you, is unique. No other authority is doing this. No other authority is taking this forward for their Black community and their Black residents. It's a 10-year program where we're looking to enhance the opportunities and outcomes for Black residents. So it's multifaceted. It was organized and designed by the Black community. And this is year 1 of the 10-year strategy. And what's even better than this is, because I know a lot of people will say, I myself included will say, well, it's a council flavour today, tomorrow it might not be a flavour. But what we've done to ensure that we have a commitment for the 10 years is we put it through our full council. So at council, every year, we update the community on what we're doing with the Black Community Action Plan. So it has to go through full council, and that way it has the ratified gravitas as the budget does as well. So in terms of the BCAP and what they wanted, the community reference group and the community wanted for year 1 was to focus on employment and skills, business, leadership, and early prevention in terms of our young people and schools. So this is part of our business development, and also looking at employment and skills. And what we want to do is enhance your businesses so you can grow, develop, hopefully employ more people, and then take it forward to make the outcomes for our young people going forward even better. So we can't do this without you. I mean, the whole thing about starting this session today, and there will be more, is having you with us to actually lead, because as I say, the council is a conduit, but you're the ones who are actually going to light the fire and take it forward. So in terms of business, we're doing so many things to try and support. I don't know if you've seen, but on the 6th of December, we actually released our digital strategy, where we're putting £2 million aside for businesses so we can support them in getting more of a digital platform, more of a customer spread and experience, and so that you're able to get into the systems and, you know, social media, so you can actually outreach further. And that's, we put £2 million so we can support businesses for getting them devices, training packages, and also access to any experience or advice that you need to grow your business. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is. It's not the case we've got a package and we're going to say this is a very nice strategy and we put it on the shelf. Oh no, year on year, we're putting money into it. As part of NSIL, we gave £2 million to Black organisations to support the Black community. Now this is putting money into Black businesses to grow Black businesses and have more Black businesses, not only in Brent, but to grow outside of Brent. So this is a really exciting opportunity for us to work with you. So I look forward to any support that we can give you. Please don't leave here thinking, well, this is not a tick box, because it's not. As you can see from the Black Community Action Plan, we even have a logo. And I think by the look of the logo, you can see exactly what direction that we're heading in. So today we have 2 organizations who are going to be talking about how they can help you and what support that you can actually access. And Lorna will also tell you about the things we're doing internally and directly to support local businesses through our recovery plan. And before I leave, before we go on to the sessions, please, if you have any need of having any support grants, if you're aware that you had the business bounce back, which is delivered by central government, but we have our own grant, which we must actually all discharge by March. The latest one's coming out this week. And this is, and within this grant, we can actually decide ourselves, because beforehand it was very prescriptive about who was actually eligible, but we ourselves can look at businesses who didn't receive any money at all throughout this pandemic period. So please do look at the business support grant on our website and see if you're eligible, and please do apply. And I'll leave it there. Hope you enjoy today. Hope you won't decide as you leave, oh my goodness, I'll never get that back, and let's move on. Because as I say, we need you. This is a unique opportunity. This is a 10-year program. It's not going to end tomorrow. And by the end of it, it's going to be looking so different for the Black community and Black residents. And I'll leave it there. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor McClellan. I just really want to thank you for those insightful words. And yeah, I'm sure that everyone here today will definitely benefit over the 10 years. Okay, thank you. May I now introduce Shay, who would like to say
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, Lorna sends her apologies. She's been called into an emergency. But as Councillor McLennan stated, this is an extremely important initiative. So the Black Business Network will ensure community cohesion. It will ensure that you understand the importance of digital skills and you're enabled to bid for amazing contracts. So I am the Community Action Plan Coordinator, and I currently lead on the Black Community Action Plan. So this entails 3 key priorities relating to supporting Black businesses, ensuring community leadership, and providing support for our children and young people. And as a result of this, we just definitely want to see you thrive, grow and prosper. And there's a few other initiatives that are coming about as a result of the Black Business Network. So we're working closely with Google, and we're going to have a session on the 18th of February to highlight the importance of digital skills and enhancing your business. I'm going to hand over to Sam to do an introduction and explain exactly what he does.
Hi everyone. Yeah, my name is Samuel. I am the Community Engagement Officer. I work for Young Brent Foundation in the borough, but I work very closely with Shay. So my role is kind of her counterpart on the outside of the council in terms of making sure that the community is heard and is always aware of what's going on, because one of the issues that we find sometimes is there's all this great things out there, but sometimes the people who need to know about it for some reason or another sometimes miss that message, and I try my best to make sure that that doesn't happen, and also just to support Shay as much as possible, because she's really the driving force behind everything that's going on. So wherever I can take some pressure off her, I try to. But yeah, so my role really is to go out and about and make sure that people who need to know what's going on, especially with the Black Community Action Plan, are aware of it. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sam, for those words. Now we've painted the picture in relation to the council and, you know, the way forward. Before I bring my our partner in to speak, I just wanted to just say a few more words, if that's okay. Yeah. Okay, for the businesses, the last couple of years have changed life as we know it. A combination of ongoing pandemic, subsequent lockdowns, and various restrictions imposed has really impacted the young Black people and the Black business owners. With the rise of inflation, when will the businesses really begin to reap the rewards financially? The fact that from tomorrow, people in England will no longer legally be required to wear face masks, it still doesn't change the financial situation for the businesses of today. However, the council, as you know, has managed to develop a programme which is quite timely, that will enable and strengthen the community leadership through building capacity, and also support the Black community through a programme to strengthen procurement opportunities and provide support for employment and enterprise. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is pass the mic, shall I say, over to Samuel, sorry, not to Samuel, to Michael Amoya saying from Upskill Digital to say a few words. Thank you.
Perfect. I'm just going to ask for permission to share my screen as well. It should come up in a second. So perfect. Share this. One moment. Oh, where are we? So perfect. I'm guessing that if someone could give me a nod of the head, if everyone can see this.
That's fine, thanks, Michael. Yeah.
Perfect. So I'll give an introduction to myself. As Elsa mentioned, my name is Michael. I'm Michael Amesain. I'm one of the growth consultants here at Upskill Digital. So I truly help our clients and our partners give an introduction to Upskill Digital, but also make sure the project runs as smoothly as possible from the beginning to the end. So make sure that any content we do deliver, it goes out as smooth as possible. I do want to introduce a couple of other people who you'll maybe seeing over the next couple of months, hopefully years. One will be Michael Hammond, he will be the project manager. He'll be dealing with a lot of logistics with the workshops, webinars that will be going on. But also we have Faith, who's unfortunately not able to make it today. However, she'll be our diversity and inclusion lead. One thing I would love to say is it's actually great to see this project, the Black Community Action Plan and Black Business Network kick off, as it's one thing where I saw how much work was put in at the beginning and how much effort's gone into building a lot of the content, and it's great to see that it's going on now. It's put a smile on my face from one of the projects I've started working on as soon as I joined Upskill. So it's great to see everyone that's here today. So moving on to who are Upskill and why Upskill. So Upskill Digital, we are a bespoke training agency, and we have a focus on digital skills and digital transformation. And in recent years, we've moved on to diversity and inclusion, and building a lot of inclusion programs, making sure that people within the workplace feel more included and be able to thrive in their current role. Also, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and I'll make sure to answer them at the end of this short presentation. So we were created in 2015, and it was very much heavily skills focused, and it had digital skills, digital transformation skills. We worked very close with Google, making sure that we're building workshops and training sessions for them. But in 2018, we saw a lot of tech companies coming to us with problems around diversity and inclusion, how to make sure that their staff, their employees feel as engaged and included as possible. So we made sure that we were creating programs, creating workshops to ensure that these individuals feel empowered within the workplace and are able to thrive within their role. So we are always looking to help and create and deliver solutions where the employees and people who are finding most difficulties feel more comfortable within their roles. And with that being said, we've trained over 12,600 organizations. And as you see today, it's going to be even more by the end of this project. We have over 250 coaches worldwide. So we make sure that whoever will be coaching and facilitating these sessions, they're going to be as finely picked as possible to make sure that you have the outcomes needed. We're across 34 different countries, and the numbers that's there, the 315,000, that's even going up and up as we go. So from that, we do have a couple of clients that hopefully we recognize across here, and a couple of councils that we've worked with in the past and working with right now. So we have the likes of the NHS, City of Westminster Council. We have the Department of Education, where we're currently running a 4-week boot camp for people who are unemployed. And we also have the likes of Hammersmith and Fulham Council. So we want to use all of this experience that we've gained, and we want to leverage this to make sure that all the outcomes you have from your sessions are as suitable as possible. And we're going to use the real experiences of the clients we have now, but also your experiences, to make sure that we're building those sessions and delivering those sessions in the best way possible. Then from that, we have 4 different pillars that we typically train companies over. So one would be the strategic level, and next would be management, which would typically be people leaders. Then we have the recruitment. But what I want to focus here today is the equity piece. So that is really with designing workshops and courses in mind with true learner outcomes. And we want to make sure that the outcomes will be increased skills, increased confidence, and making sure that you can be successful within your role and which you would like to create and overcome for your company. So with this in mind, how we put this together was with Brent Council. They were looking to create business opportunities for Black people in particular locally, as jobs of the future will be increasingly based in the tech world, and that's where Upskill Digital come on board. And we want to ensure that the Black minority business owners are empowered through 1, webinars, and 2, fireside chats. We'll also have 3 training sessions, and 4, lastly, we'll have panel sessions to make sure that we're improving your digital skills and your core competencies. So with that, we have the Brent Black Business Network. We do have those those six webinars that we'll be doing over growth and empowerment sessions. We have Unlock Your Growth Mindset and develop the skills needed to build an influential network. We also have creating a social media marketing plan, build your business mindset and resilience, create and launch your own e-commerce platform, and harness your power of digital marketing, which I'll go into a little bit more detail in the next slide. So from that, the ones we have, so unlock your potential with a growth mindset. We want to change that perception towards having a goal-oriented mindset to a growth-oriented mindset. So not just saying we're going to hit these objectives in the next 3 months, but saying throughout the course of the year, how can I be successful? How can I build my business? How can I make sure that I have the best business possible at this current period of time? And then next we have build and influence your network. So as we see across Upskill, we understand that best relationships will provide more opportunities and open a few more doors for you along the way. So we just want to make sure we have a session around that to give you those skills and confidence to reach out to more people. Then we have the social media marketing plan. So we want more people to see you, and we want you to have the greatest number of consumers possible. And with that, having that social media marketing plan, you'll be able to be seen across a number of different networks. Then moving on, we have build your business mindset and resilience. So I'm not lucky enough to have my own business, but I know you guys understand the barriers you face, and I'm sure that that determination is needed, and we only want to build upon that. So we will help you go past a few of those barriers. Then again, we have build and launch your e-commerce platform. That's so similar to the social media marketing plan, where we want to ensure that you do have that increased customer base, and we're going to do that in a cost-effective and time-effective manner. Then last but not least, we have harnessed the power of digital marketing, and that's showing you what type of content you need to create that engagement and what effort it takes to reach that level of success that you would want and you would need. And from that being said, that's Upskill Digital. And if you have any questions, go ahead.
Thank you, Michael, for sharing.
No worries.
The webinars that you plan to put forward in the next few, or the coming months, actually. Do we have any questions at this time, or would it be best to wait until the panel at the end and then? Yeah, is that okay?
That's perfect.
All right, and thanks, Michael. Oh, there's a question here that says, how do I apply? Do you want to take that now, or do you want to wait until the end?
We can say that at for the outcome grant. Okay, that would be.
Okay, well, what we'll do, seeing that you're now putting in the questions, if it's okay with everybody, let's look at those questions at the end, because you might find that after Brandwin and myself, my colleague Nauza, have actually presented, there'll be more questions. But can I kindly remind you to put your name and the name of your organisation in the chat as well, so that we can become familiar with each other. All right, now we're going to move on to the Brandwin presentation. So I'll hand over to my colleague, Nauza Manshur. Thank you.
Thank you, Elsa, and thank you all for joining. So I'm just going to share my screen. And get that into full mode. Okay. Right, so this is going to take about 8-10 minutes. And it'll be like a double act with Elsa and myself. So I'm going to bring her in a few times. Okay, so who we are, what we do is going to happen in a few minutes, but the agenda for our presentation, we'll do a couple of introductions between Elsa and myself. We'll give you 1 or 2 slides about who we are, and then we've got a few slides upon what we mean by getting you fit to bid. So that's important. I hope you'll be able to enjoy that, and to sort of preempt a question, we will give you some guidelines on how to engage with us and how to apply as well. Okay, so just very briefly, I co-founded the company in about 2011. And since then, I've worked with my business partners, Steve, who's now retired. And I've been leading the company since the last, 2.5 years. I specialize and I work with local authorities, and we'll give you an example about what we do in a few minutes. My passion is helping SMEs move on from where they are to look at their goals, try and identify what they want to do and help them to get there. We as advisors, we sometimes say we don't have any agenda. The agenda is set by the SME, and that's very true. I'm a licensed practitioner of the business model, which is a business plan on 1 page. It really works. It's very simple. It's very interrogative. It's very exhaustive, and it will help you to get to where you want, especially if you're launching a new product or service. So that's our foundation. That's our basis as well. So I'm going to hand over to Elsa to introduce herself.
Thanks, Nauza. As you know, my name is Elsa Caleb, and I'm a business strategist who specialises in business development. I've been in the industry for 30 years, and I've been running my own business for over 20. I focus on how to improve effectiveness, productivity, and more important, ensuring that business owners have a regular income to improve their bottom line. I've had an excellent journey working as a consultant, developing numerous businesses, working in organisations such as Portobello Business Centre, the British Business Bank, best known as Startup Loans, and small business advisor to 3 secretaries of state for trade and industry within government. And I thrive on solving problems within businesses. I've enjoyed working with Harrow Council with their retail businesses and the University of East London to develop their entrepreneurs as project manager. The Small Firms Enterprise Development Initiative is where I chaired the committee. It's a standard setting body for enterprise, and I had the Centre of Excellence where I developed small businesses to grow and gain qualifications at the same time and develop a well-known women's training program. Working with Brandwin, I've managed and I had the opportunity to work in Hillingdon, Hounslow and Park Royal. I'm grateful to be given this opportunity to work with Brent Council to assist in the development of the businesses. Over to you now, sir.
Thank you, Elsa. So let's move on. Right, so who are we, what we do? Okay, so we are a group of business advisors, been around for 13 years, 12, 13 years. And we work exclusively with local authorities, with growth hubs, with entrepreneur hubs at universities and chambers. And we consult with them, we talk to them about what they want to achieve in terms of their strategy. And we deliver programs to SMEs, right from startups, early stages to established and to eventual exit. We manage the program, we look after resources, and at the end of every program, including this one, we will be submitting an impact assessment as well. Okay, the way we deliver is through members, through valued people like Elsa. We have a team across London and the Southeast. And sometimes when we don't have the capacity or the program requires extra help, we get in a specialist and associates. Unlike this program where there isn't a chamber an active chamber in the borough, but otherwise most of our programs are delivered with the support of chambers, or sometimes our clients as well. And what we deliver are 3 programs, which are Fit to Bid, which we'll be talking about in a minute, Goal Mapper, which is a general business support of regeneration, and Peer Networks. For 2 years running, we won a major contract with Hertfordshire, and Elsa has been she's one of our panelists there as well, and she's doing an excellent job. So a bit more about that in a few minutes. Right, so we specialize in the local authority and the Chamber of Commerce sector. We work with a few banks as well, but I want to tell you something here. It's taken us 11, 12 years to build this one slide. We are very, very proud of it, as you'd expect, but it takes a lot of time to create key partnerships and collaborate for mutual success. So if there's anything which you get out of this slide, is not just the logos, but I would urge you as businesses, partnerships and collaborations is the bedrock of our business, the way we operate, and we thrive on that. We even have a session on that, which Elsa will cover in a few minutes. But if you were to look at sort of rebooting yourself, regrowth, and getting out of where we are now, I would recommend if you have a strategy to partner yourself out of the pandemic, you have a better chance of success. And when you partner, you tend to go very far as well. Okay. So the programs we've delivered in Ealing, this again, most of them are Fit to Bid. This is what we're going to do for Brent as well. In Ealing, we contracted with Ealing and with Heathrow. Heathrow, unfortunately, as we know, in September 2020, it collapsed. So we couldn't achieve the final outcomes in terms of expressions of interest, but that is going to happen this year. So we basically carried forward that. In 2020 and 2021, we did 2 programs for the adult social care. We did a pilot first, and then a full-fledged kind of a program where Brent Council have an objective of trying to build community wealth. That is not just a buzzword anymore. It really happens. Fit to Bid enables that by enhancing the skills of local organizations like yourselves to bid for and win local authority contracts, not only local authority contracts, but with construction companies, with HS2, etc. So we did that in October of 2020 and April, May of last year. East London, a small contract, but there's a breakthrough leadership and management with Janice Beckles. She's our person in the East, and she does an excellent job. Hillingdon, again, Fit to Bid, based around a huge new development on the old Nestle Park site. Sigro and Barrett Homes have made hundreds of homes there. And Volker Fitzpatrick is the main contractor. We won a contract through Section 106, another form of funding, got HS2 as well involved. And we trained 40 small builders, plumbers, etc., to win opportunities, and 21 of them submitted expressions of interest. Very successful. Just for a small, I wouldn't say a small, it was a large but a very focused kind of a development, and 21 local businesses submitted expressions of interest. Hounslow Council, we did that under ARG funding, May to June, extended in July, and Park Royal is ongoing as well. So current programs, Hertfordshire, what we talked about, peer networks, this is essentially getting people in a room and facilitating. Elsa is one of our most successful facilitators there. This is a contract given to us by Hertfordshire, growth for the 2nd year running. So 100 businesses in each year we've done. Watford BADS, Watford, that's business development and digital skills, 2 small programs, but again, women entrepreneurs, that's something we want to talk to Brent about a bit later. This is Elsa's, baby, in the sense she's a woman entrepreneur, and she runs this sort of program. It's a very unique program, and again helps to build local community wealth. Hounslow access to markets, we're doing that now. So what we're doing is essentially a twist to our Fit to Bid. We are training a cohort of local manufacturers, suppliers, exporters, importers to be able to sell to large retailers including Costco, John Lewis, and Tesco. They are the 3 who have agreed to attend the panel event the end of March. Hammersmith and Fulham major program from Jan to November. And this is essentially getting the whole, borough fit to bid, to be able to bid for contracts, not only at the local authority again, but with larger companies, with adult social care, with healthcare, with education, etc. And on this happy note, here we are. This is a program we just kicked off here today. So I'll hand over to you, Elsa.
Thanks, Nauza. Thank you. Okay. The fit to bid. Okay, this is a 5-stage process that engages with procurement. It ties in with our schedule, where we talk about live tender opportunities, where you can engage, hopefully in a few weeks' time. I'll share the schedule shortly after a few more slides. The program identifies live tender opportunities, recognizing the key skills required, the sales enablement that will cover how to look at your business model, your value proposition, and the one-to-one tender advice sessions, which will help you to get fit to bid. Can I have my next slide, please, Nauza? Thank you. So engage with procurement. Well, we're going to have a special session on this, where we'll be able to give you details about the live contract information from a buyer's perspective to ensure that you understand and meet the standards. Okay, taking into account the financial aspects and how much is realistically required when embarking on such a journey. We will share successful case studies, which will give you the confidence that it works, assisting you to be familiar with the selection criteria that's used on a local level that will help you to understand the criteria and the processes, and also overcoming some of the challenges. The language used when talking about supply chain and the logistics is slightly different to our everyday language, but we'll be talking about highlighting the social value and, more important, the environment and the long-term sustainability. You and I know that the council is a very large organisation, so we will help you to demystify the council and the terminologies and put you in contact with the key decision makers and buyers within the local authority. May I have the next slide, please? Bidding skills, giving yourself an edge. It's based on the principles of best practice. We have a range of workshops and webinars that we will be delivering. We'll be covering the principal elements of winning a bid, what is expected from the initial meeting, the types of questions to expect and to ask. We will share the 10 golden rules of successful bidding, which isn't a secret, but once you know what they are, you'll begin to be more confident in the process. Now I know that you know your customers, but we will assist you to revisit their needs, consider the contract that you're applying for, just to make things so much more easier. You need to know the right types of questions to ask and to ensure that you and your business have identified the solution by highlighting the selling points that will solve the problem, which will definitely put you ahead of the rest. Well, you need to be able to demonstrate that you have the experience in the areas required. So we need to ask you to produce evidence, case studies, testimonies or testimonials, etc. Our role is to help you to become the architect of the winning answers. For example, writing an effective executive summary. This section will be delivered by an expert, my colleague Noshia Desai, and he's quite knowledgeable in this area. Now, so please may I have my next slide, please. The sales enablement. Here, you will need to know if your business model is ready for bids and for tenders. Do you have the right products and the services? Can you deliver in terms of feasibility? Can you make money in terms of viability? And can you adapt? And can you complete? Okay. The key skills workshops. These are the workshops and the webinars that we'll be delivering as part of the program. Now, Brent Council is keen on looking at companies that are willing to put together consortia bids, smaller companies coming together to work with large corporations and organizations. And these webinars will help you to develop all of that. Both Nauza, my colleague who just who's spoken to you, and Tony Mulverhill will be delivering these workshops. Next slide, please, Nauza. Now, here's a program schedule. Right, let's look at this in detail. Well, today, as you know, is a launch, and we really welcome that. The engagement with procurement, which I explained earlier, will be happening on the 22nd of February. The introduction to bid writing on the 8th of March is a foundation, whereas the workshop Improve Your Bid Response is at an advanced level. On April the 12th, we'll be delivering the business model canvas. This is where I'll be taking you into a more strategic and innovative approach. We'll highlight the key 9 components in this area, and we'll do that in detail. On May the 10th, we will then look at your product design and your customer segments, as you're sure that just to make sure that you've got the right products and the services for procurement. We then have all of our colleague, Janice, talking about leadership and entrepreneurship in challenging times, which brings everything together by giving you advice on sales, marketing, and leading your team to win more tenders. The last one will be delivered by Nauza, and that's a circular economy and developing key partnerships. This will be delivered, as you see, on the 7th of June. My next slide, please, Nauza. Now, the one-to-one tender advice sessions, please remember that we're offering one-to-one confidential business advice to 20 companies. Here, I'll meet with you, and I'll meet you where you're at to ensure that you understand the whole procurement process. You'll have access to the relevant portals, tender opportunities, and I will assist you to help develop a Bible plan. Okay, and by this, I mean, we're going to go through that business model canvas, and this will incorporate and have a focus value proposition. With all this in place, you'll be able to submit a bid that will include the appropriate information, accompanied with the relevant policies and procedures required. Knowing that you've been equipped with the relevant knowledge for both the art and science of bid writing, you will, and I mean this seriously, if you really work at it, you will submit winning bids going forward. Thanks, Now. So can I have my next slide, please? Yeah, the methodology. I can never say this word, but anyway. So each participant will benefit from an assessment just to see where you're at in relation to your bid writing skills. You will gain the knowledge and skills to implement best practice. And you'll only do that if you attend all the webinars. You will have confidential one-to-one advice sessions, which will include signposting, referrals, and helping with the submitting a clear expressions of interest and winning bids. We will expect you to complete a business model canvas, like I said earlier, and that includes detailed value proposition for procurement. Overall, we would like to take you and give you total commitment to the whole process. So some hard work on your side, and we promise to give you the regular feedback to ensure that you meet the needs of the buyer. Also, that you understand the tendering process and you win new bids. And as and I've said earlier, that I've been assisting businesses for a while through the process in the areas of Park Royal, Hillingdon and Hounslow. Well, let me just pass over to Nelson now, who'll talk about the case study. Thank you.
Okay, and thank you, Elsa. The case study is based on one of our clients, Ruth Ann and Ian. We were doing a program, we were delivering a program on behalf of Hounslow, and we were holding these clinics of business, one-to-one sessions in Metrobank in Chiswick. And Ruth Ann initially came to see me about 5-6 years back. And since then, we've been working with them. They buy and sell secondhand pallets. 90% of them are wood, but the others are plastic as well to EU standards. But Ruth Ann looks after the business at the back end. She manages everything, and Ian is the front person. He's a salesperson. He drives a big Arctic as well, and they're a fantastic couple to the point they've now become close friends of mine. And Ruth Ann's just come back from Jamaica, and she's told me she's got me a special bottle of rum as well. So I'm all very excited about meeting her as soon as these restrictions are lifted. Okay. But they run a great business, and the example of this is that they are not only from our community, but what they do is very hard work. They do a traditional job which is meant for the English community. They've broken through the barriers, and they've done they turn over close to around about 600K every year. They are reasonably profitable, and we help them with their finances. We help them with their premises. We help them with their policies. And over the last 4 or 5 years, we've helped them to grow and expand beyond the Southall area as well. So they're based there. The yard is in the Southall area, but they do business across the West London area. And we've helped them to put together bids, tenders, grants, and it's been a great, success story. And they're also the other thing I want to point out is that they're also great players in the circular economy. So they take waste, they reuse, they repair, and they recycle, and they resell as well. So a great example of a case study. I'm going to ask Ruth Ann to come and speak at one of the sessions, maybe on the last one, because she's a great believer in the circular economy. So I'd like to move on now, but this is a great example. And if anybody wants to contact them or talk to them about doing business with them or giving them an opportunity to speak, then the details are on the slide, which will be on the recording. Right, so that brings us to the last slide. Thank you very much. Thank you, Elsa. Just want to make a point here that this fit to bid is an opportunity for businesses to win new business. Okay, so we're here to give you the skills, the know-how, the knowledge. We're here to handhold you in terms of the one-to-ones. We will look at your business model. We'll look at what you have to offer. We will help you to manage your business and your bid skills in such a way that you are ready, that your skills are enhanced and you're ready to submit expressions of interest. So it's a very practical sort of a program. It's based on webinars and one-to-ones and the engagement, but will be, as Elsa pointed out earlier, there will be live tenders, which we are talking to Brent Council, and we will be sort of publishing a list of what's going to be available over the next 6 months or so. So if you want to get fit to bid and win new business, then by all means, please don't hesitate to contact us. So I'll stop sharing now. I want to hand over to Elsa and just inform Elsa that Lorna is here with us as well. So if you want to facilitate, please, Elsa. Many thanks.
Thanks very much, Nelsa. Thank you. May I just take the opportunity now to introduce, to ask Lorna to introduce herself and yeah, just talk more about the programme. Thanks, Lorna. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I hear there's actually 27 businesses on the call this evening, which I think is an absolutely fantastic start to Brent's Black Business Network. My name's Lorna Hughes and I'm the Head of Strategy and Partnerships at Brent Council. One of the things I look after in my day job is the Black Community Action Plan. The Black Community Action Plan is so important to the council because it is there for you, the community. It's a 10-year strategy that sets out all the activity that the council is going to undertake in partnership with local community leaders, with local Black businesses, to make an enormous difference to eradicate inequalities, to really remove and reduce the barriers that Black communities face, not just in Brent, in London and up and down the country. The council has been really bold and really ambitious in laying down its stake and saying, actually, we need to change things. We need to change the lives of Black residents, of our Black businesses. We need to be giving people a greater stake and greater control over their lives. One of the ways we can do that is by supporting our local Black businesses to thrive. And tonight is the very first time we've established a network of local businesses to come together not just to learn. So there's some formal learning that's going to take place here, and Elsa and Nelsa are great at sharing all of the skills and knowledge you need when it comes to applying for tenders and contracts. And particularly what we've got in mind there is strengthening businesses to be able to apply and to bid for council delivered contracts. As you know, we are contracting on a whole range of things, from carers, cleaning services, food services, printing, publications, media, digital. The council spends a huge amount of money, but actually we can do more to make sure that our local Black businesses understand the language of contracts, the language of tenders, so that you are well placed to apply for our contracts and beyond. We don't just want you to get small contracts. We're looking to upskill our local businesses so that you can either apply on your own right, you can collaborate, you can form partnerships and step forward and have a slice of that bigger pie, not just for Brent Council, but beyond the borough boundaries. So it's really, really, it's great that there are so many of you here on the call tonight. I think Elsa and Nelsa have talked to you tonight about the learning component of the business network, but it's not just about learning, it's about you all talking to each other, sharing your local knowledge, sharing your insights, because you all know your businesses, you know the industry, but you also know the locality that your business is situated in. So whether you're in Wembley, whether you're in Harlesden or Kilburn, there'll be things going on in your areas that you know that actually could be a gem for another business to know about. So we want you to talk to each other, because as they say, there's that wonderful phrase, unity is strength. And that's why we want this network to bring businesses together so that you can share your knowledge, share your insights, form partnerships, strengthen, test things out, share ideas, share skills even. Some of you will have fantastic websites. Some of you, and certainly if I was running a business, my website wouldn't be so good. But actually I might meet somebody in this room tonight that's able to give me a tip. It might even be a tip about who's a good accountant locally, who's going to fix my books for me. So we want to have space for you businesses to talk amongst yourselves, to raise what you think should be on the agenda. So this isn't a classroom, yeah? We're no longer at school, and I have to say, I'll apologise in advance to my Director of Children's Services, as I say, hurrah, we're not at school, we're all big people in this space. So it would be great to hear some comments from yourselves as businesses. What do you want this Black Business Network to deliver? How can this network help you? So I'm going to encourage you all to come off mute and talk to me as I throw out the question to all of you. What would you like to achieve from this Black Business Network, and what does the network need to do to support you, knowing that the council wants Black businesses to thrive? But before I get you to answer that question, so I'll give you a couple of minutes to think about that question. I'm actually going to pick on somebody that I know is also in the room this evening, and I arrived late, so forgive me, Maggie. You may have spoken already, but I'm going to pick on Councillor Margaret McLennan, who's the lead member for Equalities, who's joined us today because Maggie leads on the Black Community Action Plan that I referred to. And I'm going to invite Maggie to say a few words, because I know, Maggie, you know more than I do on our work on procurement and social value. And I wonder if you can say a few words.
Thank you very much, Lorna, and all those words well said, and here. I think when I gave my sort of opening introduction, I informed that not only am I the deputy leader, but I'm lead member for finance. So the funding and money is under me. and this is a priority for the council. So in terms of procurement, as Lorna has said, and I hope that Shay or yourself can actually forward you a copy of the procurement strategy, but which we released late last year. But what this is saying is that we want to have, the council spends about £400 million on its goods and services each and every year. And we want the vast majority of that to go to Brent businesses, so that money is spent in Brent, so Brent residents can have the benefit of that. And then we have the circular economy. So the procurement strategy is based on that. Any contract that we have, they have, any organization has to say to us, what are you definitely going to do to enhance the lives of our residents? It's not just about putting in a park, couple of slides, paving over a street. It's what are you going to do to actually enhance and enable our residents to go to the next stage of their careers, of their lives. So all the organizations are signed up to that, and then they actually offer things like jobs, and so career pathways. They offer us things like, for example, Infosys, who were that huge data organization. They came in to do our work in terms of our IT systems, but they actually developed for us as part of the social value for our residents, because this is social value and ethical procurement. What are you going to give to us before we give to you? So they've introduced a free digital platform where you can have free access to 220 courses ranging from bid writing, how to write a CV, how to become a coder, all rafter courses. They're free, they're for residents, and already 5,500, it was launched on the 18th of October, and already 5,500 residents have started to use it. I think it's more because they're getting updates on a weekly basis and so forth. So that's the sort of thing we say by social value. What can you actually bring to us? One of another partners, because of the work that we're doing, Google, they're working very, very closely with us and so on, and they want to get involved in actually offering employment opportunities by working within the community. And it's also working with our organization, Black organizations now, and working with them to see how they can get bids and so forth. So the Jason Roberts Foundation, the Sickle Cell Society, Citizens Advice Bureau, and other organizations, we're encouraging, the funding is there. We're trying to make it as easy. Of course, we have statutory obligations we need to meet, but the whole part of this is making sure you have the opportunity because it's there and we're there to help. And I leave it there because I know that you might have questions and answers, but I'm so excited about this, and I'm so excited that you're here. And I hope you do spread the word, because I don't think there'll be an opportunity. This is an opportunity that I can say isn't anywhere in the country, and so where you're focusing. So let's use this, because I want this spread right across, this way of working right across the country. So the whole world, as I say, London councils and the central government's watching us. Let's make it work.
Thank you, Maggie. That's really helpful. So to play back some of that, you are the businesses. What does this network need to offer you? And also, how can you share the word across your networks, the people that you're situated next to, other people on your high streets? How can you let them all know about the Black Business Network? So I'm going to invite, who am I going to invite to speak first? Now, there's a lady in the chat, and she provides organic certified shea-based bath and beauty products. So I'm going to invite, I can't see the full name on my screen, the lady that does the shea-based beauty products. Something Glow. Guyan for a Glow, are you there? No, can't see her there. All right. Anybody else in the group want to answer the question? What can the Black Business Network offer you? What sorts of things do you want to see on the agenda? Is there a hand up somewhere?
Lorna, I know that within the chat, Crystal had actually mentioned about grants and things like that. So maybe Crystal's a person that could answer the come forward.
Okay, Crystal, are you with us?
Julian has his hand up, Lorna.
Have you muted all the participants? Can you unmute everybody, please? Julian.
Yes.
I'm doing
Good
that now.
evening.
Hi.
I'm just unmuting everybody, so please. Julian, you can speak now, please.
Thank you. Thank you. So first of all, yeah, I really enjoyed the presentation, and I look forward to how it can impact all of the businesses in Brent. Just a really specific question on bids. So recently, and this was outside of Brent, we didn't meet the criteria for a bid because it assessed the last 3 years of our what they called kind of financial resilience. It wasn't that, but it was a kind of, a financial benchmark that our organization needed to meet, and they went back a number of years. And so I just, in terms of preparing a company to be kind of bid ready, I'm assuming there will be something around what you need to do to get your financial house in order and what you need to do going forward in order to kind of meet those benchmarks. Because when I saw that, it's the first time I'd seen it, and it was this really scary page of like 7 or 8 different financial things that we needed to meet. We met a number of them, but there were some we didn't. And what struck me was that I'd never seen those before. I'd never been even aware of it. And I just wonder if other businesses are in a similar position, and whether or not this fit to bid initiative will help to just increase our knowledge on what the financial view of our businesses needs to look like in order to just meet some of the criteria.
Okay, if I could take that, please, Elsa. Thank you, Julian. That's a good question. Financial governance and financial governance is essential. It's an essential part of bidding. Most local authorities or larger organizations want to do business with a company who is essentially not going to disappear in a year or so. That's basically where they're coming from. So from a small business sort of a perspective, I've also noticed local authorities and large organizations recently, they haven't agreed. They are basically saying that if you've had a couple of years, which most of us have had, 2020, 2021, they want to look at pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, pre-pandemic accounts and post-pandemic projections. If you can show you've taken a bounce back loan, that helps, or some loan which will help you to get you through. So what they want to see is financial stability. Nobody's looking for financial success right now, but they're looking for stability. If you win a bid, okay. And then the other thing is, most bids are there is a sort of a plateau on the total value of the bid that you can actually put through. So most organizations say maximum you can bid for is 3 times your revenue. If you want to bid for something more than that, it'll be rejected. And unless you go through a consortium, which we're happy to work with you with, we have a session on that as well. And finally, to answer your question about the help that you need, yes, Elsa is a startup loans expert. She understands money and finances reasonably well. If you need additional help, we have a Tim Whelan, who is he's a CA. He works with us. He's on our team, and he's a financial whiz kid. So he can help you there as well. So if you have a financial issue, please inform Elsa at the time of your one-to-one, and we will focus on that. Okay, thank you, Julian. I hope that's been of some use to you.
Julian's hands up.
Sorry, one last question. I think it'll be an easy one. As you guys will know, there's a number of tender portals out there, including the government one. They're not that easy to navigate, or I don't know if it's just me. but they, you know, there's quite a lot of kind of paperwork involved, and just knowing how to navigate those systems. And also, it would appear that there are some systems out there which aren't very well advertised. So I just wonder whether or not there will be training on just how to get the best out of those portals.
Yes, to answer your question, yes. During the bid webinars and the one-to-ones, we will. I mean, it depends what you're selling. We don't want to go to that now in sort of great detail, but depends what you're selling, and that we will attach you to that particular portal. So yes,
okay,
Julie.
Thank you. Thanks.
Brill, thank you. There's a hand up from Henry. Good evening.
Evening, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks for the presentation. I'm a new business. I'm not at the stage where a lot of the businesses that I've been hearing tonight, they seem very well established. I'm very, very, very new startup. I'm just wondering, is this something that would be beneficial to me as a very brand new startup business?
Do you mean in terms of the network?
Yes, the whole presentation, because a lot of the questions that I've been asked seem to be from established companies and organizations who are way ahead on the development scale than I am.
So Henry, can I be nosy and ask you, what is your business? What's your industry?
Well, my business is, I'm from the island of Dominica, Commonwealth of Dominica in the Caribbean, so I'm Creole. So my business is about promoting and educating people about Creole culture and the Creole language. And one of the things that we wanted to do, one of the ways we wanted to do this is through bringing all the Creole embassies together to celebrate a day. In the Caribbean, we call it Journée Creole, which is Creole Day, but we want to bring that to the UK as well. So I've already been talking to a number of the embassies, and they've got quite a lot of interest in what we want to do, because there is quite a large Dominican community in and around Brent and surrounding areas. But it's not just Dominican. You've got the Mauritians, you've got the Seychelles, you've got British Guyana. I think they speak Creole as well, or Reunion Islands. You've got New Orleans.
So Henry, from that, I take it that your startup is just you, and you work from an office space, so you need an office environment.
I need quite a lot. I need direction and guidance as to what foot to put forward first, because there's so many different areas that this can lead me down, and I'm not sure which is the right way to go forward. Because at first I was doing the Nottingham Carnival. That didn't really progress because, again, it was me on my own. So I've now decided, okay, what I might do is do like a community-based radio station instead. So I just need guidance and help and support, and to know, okay, this is what your strategy should look like, and this is what you should be going for. This is the avenue you need to be going down. I just need support.
So on that, Henry, the first thing I'd say is that part of this package is one-to-one business support. So yes, do stay with us, because you can arrange one-to-one advice with Elsa and Nauza, and I'm sure they'll do work with you to define what is your USP, what is the major part of your product that you can then focus down on. But the other thing that brings to mind is another piece of work that the council is undertaking with a local community person, which is to bring on a building in Wembley that will offer space for startups, and that's going to be free rental of space, so you can come in, use shared workspace, all of that kind of access to computers, access to people as a business startup. I can't remember the technical name for it. It escapes me at the moment.
Google do it as well. I know Google do it. Google has hubs for it. Yeah.
Well, we're just behind Google because we're doing one in Wembley. And probably in a few weeks' time, I'll bring that startup space to the Black Business Network, and I'll get my colleague Peter, who leads on that work, to come along and give you a presentation on that.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
So Henry,
Appreciate it.
do stick with us. Elsa can do one-to-ones with you, and I'm assuming we've got all of your contact details. We'll be able to get in touch with you outside of the network meeting. So stick with us, Henry.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
You're most welcome. Most welcome. So I can see quite a lot of names on the screen, not many hands going up. No, Nomatemba, good evening.
Good evening, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes, it's very exciting actually, and I feel that Brent is really now going to help us. I'm looking forward to the webinars, and because my whole area of training at the moment was face-to-face, and a lot of training is now gone online. So I'm looking forward to being, to meeting people in the network who may have the skills for helping people like myself who are not very, very digitally orientated, because I need to have that mixture of delivering courses online, but also because it's in care, you need to have the face-to-face as well. Which is important, but I am really excited and hopefully looking forward that the network will be a good network which will support each other, and so that we are not feeling alone, that we're working together towards helping each other to succeed.
Thank you, Nomatemba. I couldn't agree more. So as well as we can contribute some things, I think the relationship, the partnerships that you build up amongst yourselves is going to be the most powerful. So thank you very much for supporting that idea within the network. I can see other names on the chat. And Crystal, are you able to speak now? Have you got sound? Good evening.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Oh, hi, everyone. So basically, I was feeling very much like the other guy who spoke. Sorry, I don't know his name, but he said he was Henry. Yeah, he said he was a new business. And similarly, I started my e-commerce business in the lockdown. And I was just, it's done well so far and it's been self-sustaining. But I just didn't know whether, the level that I'm at is ready to be bidding yet, if that makes sense, if I'm ready to be bidding yet.
So Crystal, as you stand today, you might not be ready to bid, but wouldn't it be great if you've got all the skills when your business is ready? So don't wait for the growth to happen before you prepare yourself and be ready to bid. You start doing it today, yeah? So
start bidding. I can bid, that's what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is that coming onto the programme and understanding the bidding process, understanding what it takes to get your bid across the line, what those commissioners are looking for in bids would be fantastic. So again, stick with us. Take advantage of the one-to-one advice that is available. What's your e-commerce platform? What do you sell?
I sell head wraps, but I do want to expand into hair tools and accessories and also make it more for community for women, rather than just being head wraps. So I'm trying to build up the brand story as well behind it at the moment.
Excellent. I think I've got myself a great shopping place coming here tonight. I've heard of great things in the chat. Crystal doing head wraps. I'm so glad we brought you all together. And that's the thing, you can be in a place and not realise how little you do know. But when we all come together, the knowledge that comes out of everybody, the skills that you've all got is quite remarkable. So please do stick with the network. Guyan Flora Glow, I think I've got that right. Your hand is up.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Good evening.
Right. Good evening to everyone. It is Jemfua Glow. Jemfua is my Ghanaian name. I'm from Ghana, West Africa. I do pure 100% shea butter, organic certified skin butters and natural soaps. Increasingly, we get a lot of people having allergy to synthetic products. So what I offer is pure natural shea butter products with additional health benefit. For example, I do have shea butter with orange and lavender, which is orange is vitamin C. So you have natural shea butter with the lavender giving it a nice scent. So it's a product that you would like to use. The unique selling point of my product is that I do not use plastic at all. I use coconut containers. So reusing a product that will otherwise be thrown away. So we use the coconut shells for the packaging. And it is sourced in the same country. So we are supporting the zero climate ozone layer, so to speak. Yeah, that's what I do. And I am on the market, but I've got to the point that I think I need a bit more of the digital
digital platform.
I am there, but I think I need more expertise. More expertise to move to the next stage. That's
so
what
Jim Fuller,
yes.
What I would say to you that we have got another provider as part of the Black Business Network, and they're actually called Upskill Digital. Has Upskill spoken tonight? Michael, you're on the line.
Yeah, definitely. I'll say that's the great thing you just mentioned, as the number of workshops and webinars we're going to go through, including unlocking your potential with a growth mindset, building and influencing your network. But the two in particular I would say could really uplift your brand at the moment would be one, social media marketing plan, how you can get more reach out there. But the ones that's on top of that is almost harnessing the power of digital marketing. So those are the hardest skills that you would need to make sure that you're reaching out to as many people as possible, and hopefully that will increase your consumer base, but also they will speak about your products to other people as well, and it just keeps on growing and growing and growing. So giving you those skills or helping you provide those skills would be a great start.
So there you are. So as part of the program, the digital skills component, the e-commerce, social media is built into that. So some weeks you might do something really practical, which is about, I don't know, contract finder. But the following week, we may well have Michael doing the social media marketing. So this is a blended program. But what is important is that you guys shape it. So we want to meet your needs, but you have to tell us what the needs are. What support do businesses need from a program like this? So Joantha, thank you so much for sharing that. But just because you've mentioned being sustainable and using products to support environmental improvement, I've got to tell you about a little quick win. So here's a little tip. The council has got a grant program. It's a very small grant program. It's called Together Towards Zero. And that is an opportunity for local organisations, local businesses, local residents to apply to the council for £1,000 to deliver something along the green agenda. So for yourself, you might do a session on how to change the packaging that you're using in your home, and the council will give you a grant to deliver a community event along those lines that helps the community to become much more sustainable and have an impact on our carbon levels in the borough. So as part of notes from this meeting, I'll send it out so that you can all see the Together Towards Zero grant. It's not a huge amount of money, but it does allow you to do something within your local community. Really short, sweet form to fill in. It's really basic information and it's very, very accessible, and that's administered within my team. So I'll get that sent out to you. So thank you for raising carbon in this conversation tonight. A couple of hands are up. I'll take Tara, then I'll go back to Henry.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Tara.
Brilliant, fantastic. Okay, I'm in the fashion industry and I've had my business for some time, but I moved back to Alperton to be able to give back to the community, and that was just before COVID. I'm actually in the studios in opposite Sainsbury's in Alperton. I have one of the studios there and been there for the like 3.5. I wanted to open up a consultancy because of the amount of knowledge I have within the industry. So how would Brent be able to help me with that? People who want to come into the industry, I do from concept to market. That's what I teach to my new up and coming businesses. I have many factories that I subcontract to in the UK. Before COVID, my books were full and because everybody stopped when it first happened in China, and we just moved over here, and everybody started ringing me up for production in the UK. And I thought, wow, I'm going to be busy for the next 2 years, 3 years, every day, every single day. But then what happened, of course, we then, it came across to, and we had lockdown. So I had to change my strategy, but I did launch a couple of labels for other people, children's wear brands within COVID who are now flying and doing really well. But I've been asked by many people to turn it into a consultancy, but I have no understanding of how I'm going to get to that level. Does that make sense? Or have I just kind of like thought kind of rubbish?
Sorry, it does make, I was on mute there for a moment, Tara, apologies. It absolutely does make sense. And again, I think initially that's going to be one for the one-to-one business development conversations with Elsa and Nelsa, as well as making sure tapping into all digital elements of this network. So you will get that evolution.
Fantastic. That sounds really good. As I said, that my industry experience is extensive. We were hopefully looking to start also training classes here within Brent for new machinists and that, because the factories that I deal with in London have such a problem now with when we had Brexit, people going back, the trained qualified machinists are not available. So it's a great opportunity to be starting that as well. And that's something else that I've been approached by in the last year. But Brent has really come back and given any kind of support. Is that something that I could get via this platform?
What do you mean by a discount form?
No. Oh, sorry. Did it come across as discount? No. In my industry, we now, because of Brexit, have a lack of skilled labour, as in machinists, pressers, buttonholers, everything you would think of that goes onto a garment. We need people who are qualified to be able to do that. But during my career, I have set up many factories and trained people for these jobs. But we're looking to set up a training centre in Brent because there are already in Brent existing skilled workers who we just need to polish off their skills, and then we'll be able to find employment within London. Quite a few people around London, because I know tomorrow if I got 5 machinists, I could get them work, not in Brent, London. So they're not.
Tara, I think the upskill digital, the marketing, the e-commerce is going to be really, really good for you to tap into.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
And I think one of the other things, having heard you tonight, we could perhaps bring along one of my colleagues that works on the business support fund. So as you know, the council gave loads and loads of support across COVID to local businesses as well as to residents, and that business support grant is still open. There are elements of that business grant that are focused on digital and making sure that businesses do have access to equipment so that they can have an e-commerce offer. There's also another element of that program. I'm not sure if this element is live as yet, but part of that element is about replacing electrical equipment that businesses rely on. So for example, if you're a corner shop, you must have a working fridge, or if you're running a dry cleaners, you need to have really good quality machines to be able to deliver your service. So there are business support grants that are able to actively support you in the here and now, as well as this network that's designed to strengthen what you've already got. So do stick with us, and I've got that on my list of things to do, is to contact my colleague Ella and get him to deliver one of the network sessions.
Thank you very much. Sounds fantastic. Appreciate that.
You're most welcome. Henry, your hand's up. Is that a new hand or an old hand? No, it must be an old one. So I'm going to talk to somebody. I'm going to pick on somebody in the group, somebody who's just put a message in the chat, and that's Ben. Good evening, Ben.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, yes. I'm actually the chair of elderly daycare center, but recently we've been I've been discussing it for the groups. There's a youngster who wants to set up a collaboration with us to bring in a youth section. There's also someone from the Irish community who wants to make joint bids with us. So what I want to know is, how can I make that as effective as possible, and can the group help us to make it a viable proposition?
Good question, Ben. And now I realise I thought that was a familiar face. You're Wise, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes. Good evening. Glad that you're with us. I'm going to call on the experts to answer that question in terms of developing a partnership to be able to submit tenders.
Okay, great.
Now, so do you want to take that?
Yes, please. I mean, thank you, Lorna. Ben, just a quick question. Are you based in the Brent area?
Yes, I'm in Houston.
Okay, great. There's a reason I asked that, is because then we can give you potentially a lot more support, and putting together a consortium is the most important bit, is the legal framework. How you operate, we have a canvas. We can help you and the Irish people, a company, come together on the same table. We can help you with what you want to achieve, what they want to achieve, and vice versa, and bring it all together. But there will be a requirement for a contract as a consortium. It's not only to protect your interests and their interests, but it's also to protect the council or the supplier. Or the buyer. The reason being that the buyer wants to ensure, if it's the council in this case, they want to ensure they're dealing with ideally one legal entity. If it's not the case, or if that means you might even get together with your Irish friends and develop a joint venture or a special purpose vehicle just for the sake of bidding. That's done as well. If you don't go down that route, then you will need to demonstrate to the council that you've got a legal structure in place, because the council will want to pay one company. They'll want somebody to sign a contract, and if they've got more than one organization, they'll want both people to sign the contract. So the legal framework, apart from the partnership, which is between you and your friends or the other company, but the legal sort of a framework, you're going to need some help on that. That will also cost. It will have to be done with a commercial lawyer. Perhaps you might be able to get a grant from the ARG grant. I don't know, but at this stage. But I want to point out that the legal framework for putting together a consortium is absolutely critical, not only for you, for your partners, but also for the buyer.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Brill. Okay. Anybody else? Shall I pick on somebody? I'm used to picking on people on a Zoom call. I've seen a lovely name. I'm going to invite Corinne Daru to say something to us this evening. Hi, Corinne.
Hello, good evening all.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi. So I'm very similar to Henry, where I'm just starting off, and I'm a community artist and community art tutor and upcycling artist, and I got a studio in Barham Park. And what I would like to do is bring more of that tutor work to the community. So I'd like to do more community classes. At the moment, I work in other boroughs where I teach art to the elderly and children. And I'd like to bring that to Brent also, and bring some of my upcycling skills, because at the moment we waste a lot. And I'd like to show people how they can upcycle current things from clothing to furniture, and just show them how that could be done. And I wanted to come to this and see how this could be useful to me, see if this could help me out, which it has been so far. So yes, yeah.
Brilliant. I have to say, loving your work, Corinne.
Thank you.
What is take advantage of the Together Towards Zero grant. It's really light touch on paperwork. It isn't a fortune, but it is £1,000 that will enable you to deliver, you know, a couple of workshops within the community. Okay, so that's the first thing. I think one thing that is going to be important, and this is a message particularly to Elsa and Nauza, is that I think we do need to spend a bit of time to make sure that that our businesses know the difference and the different tone it takes when you're applying for a grant than when you are applying for a tender. So a grant will set out what I want from you and I will give you the money, or you come up with an idea and you say, does my idea fit? And the commissioner will determine, yes, that's a good fit, you can have the money. Or no, that's not a good fit, you can't have the money. Whereas a tender is when goods and services are required, normally more than once, often over multiple years, and they say, we need somebody to commit to providing, be that these school books, be that the pens and pencils in the primary school, be that the dinner ladies to serve the dinner, or the dinner for the dinner ladies to serve for the next 3 to 5 years. So the tenders, so the work that Elsa and Nauza does is really more about that contracted arrangement that you have tendered for competitively, you've been scored against other providers and you came out and you won that tender, as opposed to a scenario which usually presides over the community space, which is grant funding. So I think we do need to perhaps have a session and give examples of what's ripe for grant funding. And actually, some of you businesses are still eligible for grant funding. And I'll share a tip. You won't like me for this because the network is on the 26th, but there is a particular grant that is going to close on the 31st of January, but I'm going to tell you about it for transparency anyway, because it is still open. The Neighbourhood Community Infrastructure Fund, locally known as NCIL. Many people don't realise this, but businesses can apply for NCIL funding, providing the beneficiaries are 100% Brent residents. So Corinne, if you're adept, you could put in an application for a grant, not an arrangement to supply that service and I'll pay you, you know, quarterly. In that sense, you can apply for a grant, money given to your business to deliver educational classes on upskilling across the community. There are grants that you can apply for to deliver your business. Okay, so I think Elsa, we're going to have to do that quite quickly so that businesses know what grants are available to them, as well as knowing what tenders are available to them. Can you bear with me just one moment? I've just got to take a phone call. Apologies.
I think what I'll say at this time, just to support what Lorna's just said, yes, there is a difference between the grants. There's also a difference between loans and also tenders. And from a business point of view, if you're looking for growth, definitely the tender area is for you. If you're a standalone business that's working on a day-to-day, yes, take advantage of the grants, also take advantage of loans. But as Lorna was saying, she wants us to look at it a lot closer to see exactly where businesses fit. Also to answer some of the questions. Having been a grants officer myself, I do understand the differences between accessing grants and loans, and also then going on the procurement side. So there are different stages, different approaches. So yes, as Lorna has said, yes, we will get together and yes, have some kind of meeting. Okay.
Brilliant. Okay, who else am I gonna choose this evening? I can see the name Carmen, and just because that's the same name as my sister, I'm going to pick on you. Good evening, Carmen.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. I work, or have been working for a charity until recently in Brent, a Youth Engagement Solutions. Part of the charity did have sport, mainly football, working with young people to deliver competitive and ongoing training. Because of COVID and another issues, the sporting side, which is called Cricket with Wanderers, has to come out to the charity. So currently it's registered as a community interest company. The whole idea or the philosophy of the charity, which follows the new community interest company, is to empower young people to take control. So the new community interest company has been set up exclusively to be managed and delivered by BME. You probably wonder what am I doing there, since I'm not Black. My position is temporarily. We have 4 directors, 3 of them are BME, representing younger people who are currently customers or were customers and became workers, and myself is there just to help them develop. The problem we have is that because we are new, even though we have been operating since 2011 within a charity, we are new now. It's very difficult to apply for funding because we need to have a 12 months or 1 year accounts. We could provide the accounts from the point of view of the charity, because we've been operating with them till December, but it's very difficult to do. So at the moment, they rely on my own money. My idea is to bring it up, get everybody into a skill up, and so I can retire and they can carry on delivering the service. So my big issue for us is, because we play football a lot and we compete, we have 4 competing teams at the moment, we found Brent being practically impossible and very expensive to get pitches. So, for example, we do play, the first team plays in Wembley Football Club, which is a local one, obviously, and a very good one. But we have to train outside Brent because the pitches are sky high. And we are not the only ones. There is other organizations in sports who, unless they have pitches facilities, it will be impossible to deliver because they cannot afford the community groups. So my question would be, how can Brent help, or this network can help, to ensure that there are pitches which very often are not available or they are not available to the general community, to access that we can manage, we or a consortium or people. Because
thank you for that, Carmen. Carmen, I can answer you. So yeah. Thank you very much for raising that point about how can Brent help. I think the first thing I'll say honestly is I wish I had a penny for the amount of times I've had conversations about the cost of community football pitch hire over the last 40 years of working with communities. You've raised an issue that is really important. It's not localised to Brent, it's pan-London, it's national. However, tonight's conversation is really about businesses rather than the community charity sector. You are welcome to stay, you are welcome to join, but the difference, I would say, the key difference here is that we set up businesses through our passion, but we want to earn some money. Yeah,
this is a business.
Earn a living.
Sorry,
So,
Lorna, I think I may have explained myself badly. The Cricket Wanderers is actually a trading business. It's to make money.
Yeah. Okay.
So
it's
not
a commercial entity.
It's a commercial entity. It's just that it happens to be a community interest company. So the profits will go back into the business. Or,
oh yeah, I get it. I get social enterprise.
Yeah.
But I think the dialogue and narrative around communities using football pitches has been going on for many years, and it doesn't reside in the commercial setting. So tonight is probably not the right place to raise that particular point. Certainly there's things we can do with you to support the growth of your business. Again, I'll turn to Brandwin for one-to-one support. There's all the digital offering from Upskill, from Michael, but in terms of that community conversation around access and cost of pitches, I think I would rather have a conversation outside of tonight, because that's quite a specific one. It's a hot potato and it's been going on for many years. So Carmen, I can talk to you outside of this. Yeah. And you're not alone. I know other clubs locally travel elsewhere to have their kind of home grounds, but it's a problem, but it's a national one.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Okay, so thinking football, thinking multiple players, I'm going to turn to Team FST on the line. Team FST, good evening. I don't see an individual's name, but I see Team FST. Does anybody recognise that as their Zoom name? Yes.
Yes.
Hello. Good evening. Hi.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. And yourself?
Very well, very well. Thank you very much for the information this evening. Very insightful. So thank you. I've put in 2 questions into the group. I'm not sure if you saw it. The first one being getting support with the applications with regards to grant funding. So we've made some attempts, some promising attempts, but we haven't actually secured the grant that we intended. So is that something you're going to be able to support us with?
Is it a Brent Council grant?
Or is the previous ones weren't, but moving forward, yes, the ones available from Brent Council, so we want to apply for. But the issue is the application. There's an art in the application we discovered, so we need some support.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So what we do, because the grants team sits within my area.
Oh, fantastic.
When we open up a round of the NSIL, that's the one I referred to earlier, the Neighbourhood Community Infrastructure Levy Fund. When we open up that grant pot, we always deliver support sessions. Okay. This time round, we are clear that we want some of that NSIL money to go to groups and organisations that have not received NSIL funding before. So in this round, smaller organisations, newer organisations have an advantage. However, I'm only informing you today, and it is unlikely that you would probably be ready to submit an application in the next 4 days, because the closing date is in fact the 31st of January for the NSIL grant. I've put the link in the chat so that, you know, that's tonight's bedtime reading. Everyone get on the NSIL website, don't watch Newsnight. And if you choose that you do want to submit an NSIL application, I will give you the name of my grant manager. I'll put her name in the chat. Email her. I'll let her know this evening.
Okay.
Or warn her. You can email her and you can have a conversation. She'll do some time with you on the telephone and talk you through the whole process. That's for anyone who wants to apply for an NSIL grant. This is an application without promise because, of course, there's still criteria. The main criteria is support from the local community for your community project. As a business, you must demonstrate that there will be 100% beneficiary for Brent residents, but businesses are able to apply. Many other grant funders do offer support sessions. So I know the National Lottery, they offer support, often, you know, a Zoom call or something will be set up for a couple of hours to support you through the grant process. But you're absolutely right. There is a language of grants, and grants have what they call an outcomes-based language. So they're looking for you to focus on the outcomes you're going to deliver, more so than how fantastic the product is in a tender approach. So that's why I think it's really important that we do quite an early session to separate the grant language from the tender language, because they're not the same, as you rightly point out. So email my colleague Kate, she's the grants manager, if you want to have any questions answered around the Neighbourhood Community Infrastructure Fund that's open at the moment. The maximum you can apply for is £50,000. You must demonstrate support from the community. In an ideal world, if you'd had more lead-in time, we would ask that you get support from your local ward councillor. And Councillor Hilton, you know where this is going. I'm going to pick on you next. We would like you to have support from your local ward councillor before submitting your application for an NSIL grant. But that's just one of the many grants council does offer. There's another grant fund called the Edward Harvest Fund that requires you to have 50% match fund at the moment, although that will change in the coming months. You can apply for up to £5,000. There's the smaller Together Towards Zero. And I'm now going to invite Councillor Orleen Hilton to say a few words about the Love Where You Live very local grant that's available. Councillor Hilton.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lorna.
I put you on the spot. I'm sorry, Orleen.
Right. Basically, Love Where You Live grant is it's quite simple to apply for. It's not heavy duty, and you get upwards of £1,000. It covers a wide range of uses. I mean, more recently, I had a lady whose daughter had written a book, and she applied for the funding, and she's going to have a launch for that book. To a fun day, under fives activity in the park, a wide range of uses. There's no deadline to it, you can apply for it any time. And that's about it, really. Very short, very concise.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you very much, Councillor. Yeah, so it's £1,000, Love Where You Live. Very, very easy to access. That's a rolling grant, so it is always open. So you can apply at any time for a Love Where You Live grant to do something in your community. So Corinne, that's grant pot number 2, that's easy access for you.
And can I just pop in here? Corinne, is it possible I could have your contact details?
Yes, no problem.
Because when you were talking about the artwork you do in upcycling, I'm also part of Friends of the Earth, and I've got some links with Fair Trade. So I think I met you before, but anyway, I can have your contact details and can go further from there.
Yep, perfect. Thank you so much. I'll pop it in the chat.
Okay,
Brilliant.
great. Thank you.
Thank you, both of you. Thank
Super.
you.
That's what tonight's all about. It's all about making connections, knowing who's around you, knowing who you can turn to if you want something, if you want to be connected to somebody else. It's great. It's called social capital and we love it, building social capital here tonight in Brent. So let me get the name right. Gianfua. Am I getting better? Your hands up.
Just a point here, Lorna. We are at 17:20.
Can you hear me?
At 5:30. Can we finish this by 17:30? Maybe a couple more questions, please.
Yes, certainly. So let's.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go for it.
Yeah, I also did some work for Fair Trade Climate Change Department during the COVID, so perhaps we can get in touch as well.
Excellent. That's one for you, Corinne, and Councillor Hilton.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks very
Can I have
much.
your details, please?
You want mine? Okay, if I put my details, you can send me an email, then that's be perfect.
All right.
Do it now because I've got a meeting later on. So
okay.
Super. Thanks very much, Councillor Hilton.
No problem.
Nomatemba, I'll take you as the last comment because we are looking to close the meeting on time at 7:30. Question from you.
Yes, I think listening to other people talking, it's made me think very much about what I do and the passion I have for it, because we've got a lot of young people, children who have got severe disabilities, as well as elderly people in our community being looked after and supported by care workers. Now, those care workers, it's very well known really generally that the skills that they need, some basic skills of writing, they may not actually have. So listening to people, I need to be looking and talking to community groups where maybe I could start working with them to improve the literacy and numeracy so that we can recruit and be able to supply people in the community who can articulate, because we are required to keep records and those records are legal documents. So listening to people today has actually helped me to start thinking and focusing on what I need to be doing, because I've got a passion for wanting to see people being cared for and supported by people who are knowledgeable and well trained.
Excellent, excellent. So what I would say to that, Nomatemba, is I wouldn't discount any funding stream, be that grant funding that can come into the business, or be that a commercial supply relationship that you can provide, having won a tender for it. So keep yourselves open, businesses, because these have been tough times the last couple of years. And I have to say, I'm going to stick my neck on the line and say on behalf of the council, thank you all very much for surviving as local businesses, because can you imagine what Brent would be like without a corner shop, without the guy who keeps his store open till late at night? It would be a very, very different place if we didn't have you businesses. So I'll extend thanks on behalf of the council to all of you. And at this moment, I'm going to hand back to Elsa and Nauza and Michael to close the meeting in the way that you had planned before I came in. So thank you all.
Yes, I just want to say, a few words, please. Firstly, thank you, Lorna. We were supposed to end a bit earlier, but you came in and you completely changed the complexion of the meeting and it became very positive, very interactive, and I've taken a lot from that today as well. So, many thanks for that, Lorna. It was great work. And thank you, Shay, as well for organizing this. I just want to say something to the attendees that there are two programs here. One is Upskill, which is basically looking at your digital skills to get you to where you want to be. And then we have a fit to bid sort of a program which will help you to get more business, win a few more contracts. And I think it's important, if you're a startup, you can attend the digital skills ones, and being a startup is a journey. So don't think you can, it's a 2 or 3 year journey maybe. So use what's available, use the grants, use upskill, use us where you are right now. We can help you, and we can help you to sort of recover, reboot, and to grow your business. Thank you.
Brilliant. I think that just a final word from me, because you can all tell I'm the youngest of 11 children and can't keep quiet. It's just who I am, product of my environment. Keep up the noise, people. Please don't come to the network in silence. Please come off of mute. Please be brave enough to show yourselves, get your cameras on, get to know who you're speaking to, get the confidence to say the thing that's on the tip of your tongue, but you don't want to say it because you're not sure if you're going to be embarrassed. Forget all that. Speak up. This session is for you, and we want you to direct it. We want you to tell us what's got to be in it, because yes, we've got brand win. Yes, we've got upskill digital, but it doesn't end there. Just like the BCAP, we are in this for the long haul. What I'd like to think is that the business network is incepted with council support. We kick it off, we see it through, but I'd like to think that one of you businesses becomes the chair of the Brent Black Business Network. I'd like to think that the Brent Black Business Network then achieves direct funding to sustain itself as an entity in its own right. And we, the council, can then step back and you guys lead your network. We've come to this with some pencil writing on a piece of paper. It's for you guys to add the ink. We want the network to be owned by you and led by you. So whilst I may not come to every network meeting, please, I ask you, speak in the name of Lorna, know your truth, speak your truth, ask that question, get to know, because knowledge is power and unity is strength. So on that note, I honestly will shut up because I will talk all night long. It's been a lovely evening with you all though. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lorna, and I really appreciate all that you've said. And it actually shows that's definitely the businesses, do need to be heard. So I'm really glad that they came out tonight and they met yourselves and met you, Lorna, and were able to allow them to have their say. I'm not sure if Michael wanted to say something quickly before I thank everybody. So Mike.
It was going to be pretty much the same as me. I feel we've got off to an amazing start. I know Brent Council has been working on this for a period of time, and Brand in Upskill Digital. But for everyone else, it's day one, and it seems like we've got off to an amazing start. I can't be any happier with what I've seen today.
Okay. Excellent stuff. So go back to your businesses, tell your neighbours, tell the businesses that you know, and bring them back to the business network with you.
Excellent. Thank you, Lorna.
Say good night.
It just leaves me to say thank you to Councillor McLennan, to Councillor Hilton, to you, Lorna, to Shay, Michael, and of course my colleague Nauza for a brilliant evening. And as I say, it's great to be in touch, and we'll be in touch shortly.
Thank you all.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you.